People often think that once someone moves to Canada, life automatically becomes better. Better opportunities, better money, better future. And in many ways, that is true. Canada has given me so much. A new life, new experiences, a sense of stability that I once dreamed about. But after living here for 10 years, there is one thing I've learned. A better life does not mean you stop missing the life you had before. Sometimes, the more stable your life becomes, the more clearly you begin to notice the small things that used to make you feel at home. Today, I want to share 5 things I still genuinely miss about Vietnam while living in Canada. And if you've ever moved away from home, maybe some of these feelings will sound familiar. The first thing I miss is the feeling of life being everywhere. Vietnam always feels alive. The streets are full of movement. People are outside. Motorbikes are everywhere. Food stalls are open. You hear voices, laughter, conversations, and the sound of daily life all around you. There is an energy that never really sleeps. Even late at night, it still feels like the city has a heartbeat. When I first moved to Winnipeg, that was one of the biggest differences I noticed, especially in winter. The streets can feel so quiet. Snow covers everything. People stay indoors. Sometimes I would walk outside and see almost no one around. At first, I thought the quiet was peaceful, and honestly, sometimes it is. But after a while, that silence can also feel lonely. There were moments when I missed the noise. Not because noise is always good, but because noise sometimes means life. It means connection. It means people. The second thing I miss is the food culture. And I'm not just talking about taste, I'm talking about the whole experience. In Vietnam, food is part of daily life in such an easy and beautiful way. You can walk outside and within a few minutes, find something delicious. A bowl of pho, banh mi, fresh fruit, street food, coffee shops filled with people talking. Food feels social. It feels alive. In Canada, of course, there is amazing food too, but it feels different. Sometimes I miss the spontaneity. The simple joy of stepping outside and knowing good food is right there. There are nights in winter when I'm sitting at home, looking outside at the snow, and suddenly I start thinking about the food back home. Not just the taste, the memories attached to it, the people I used to eat with. Sometimes what we miss is not the food itself, it's the feeling around it. The third thing I miss is the closeness of people. Back home, relationships often feel more immediate. Family is close, friends are easier to see, neighbors know each other, people check in. Even random conversations can happen naturally. Living in Canada taught me that people are kind here too, but the way connection happens can be different. Sometimes life feels more individual, more private, more scheduled. And for someone who grew up in a culture where connection feels very natural, adjusting to that took time. There were moments when I missed simply being surrounded by familiar people, people who understand your humor, your expressions, and even your silence. The fourth thing I miss is the sense of familiarity. There is something deeply comforting about being in a place where everything feels instinctive. The language, the culture, the way people communicate, the small social rules that you never even have to think about. When you move abroad, suddenly everything requires mental energy. Even simple things, how to greet people, how to make friends, how to behave at work, how to understand cultural differences. Over time, you adapt. But there are still moments when I miss the ease of not having to translate myself. Not just language, but identity. And the fifth thing I miss is the feeling of home. This one is harder to explain because home is not always a place. Sometimes it's a smell, a sound, a street, a certain type of weather, a memory. Sometimes it's just a feeling that suddenly hits you for no reason. Living abroad teaches you something powerful. You can build a life somewhere new while still carrying pieces of your old life inside you. And that's okay. Missing home does not mean you are ungrateful for where you are now. It simply means your past still matters. It shaped you. It made you who you are. And honestly, I think that's something beautiful. So if you're also living away from home, I want you to know this. Missing where you came from is normal. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. You are not alone in that feeling. I'd love to hear from you. What is one thing you miss the most from home? Let me know in the comments.